Shots ringing out over Australia's most famous beach, packed for sunset. Panic as people on the shore and in the sea run for shelter. As rounds are fired, a moment of bravery. Watch as the man in white, Ahmed al-Ahmed, tackles one of two terrorists, targeting hundreds of Jewish people who were peacefully celebrating Hanukkah, the festival of lights. The disarmed attacker retreats to a bridge, where his co-assailant, 24-year-old Naveed Akram, continues to fire, shooting Ahmed al-Ahmed twice in the arm. The pair continue their attack before they're surrounded by law enforcement. One is shot dead and the other is seriously injured and apprehended. Police are investigating reports of a third terrorist. They also discovered improvised explosives in the attacker's car beneath the bridge. Before paramedics arrived, people rushed to help those injured. 11 did not survive. 29 others, including children, were taken to Sydney hospitals.
It was absolute chaos. We didn't know what was happening, where the gunfire was coming from. I saw blood gushing in front of me. I saw people hit, saw people fall to the ground. My only concern was, where are my kids? Where are my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my family? I survived October 7th. I lived in Israel the last 13 years. We came here only 2 weeks ago to work with the Jewish community, to fight anti-Semitism, to fight this bloodthirsty, ravaging hatred.
That's why you're here?
That's why I'm here.
Everyone was just running and there were bullets and there were so many of them and we were really scared. We didn't know where they were coming from.
Australian authorities have been conducting raids at several properties as part of their investigation. The country has strict gun laws, meaning this kind of attack is rare.
When I ask for calm, that is really important. This is not a time for retribution. This is a time to allow the police to do their duty.
Australia's Prime Minister described the attack as an act of evil.
There is no place for this hate, violence and terrorism in our nation. Let me be clear, we will eradicate it.
But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticised the Australian government, citing a warning letter he wrote them after their recognition of Palestine.
Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country.
One of those killed was a British-born rabbi, Eli Schlanger, a 41-year-old father of 5. His colleague, Rabbi Levi Wolf, who rushed to the scene, was defiant.
As a Jewish people, our light will not be dimmed, and the holiday of Hanukkah will remind us and the world that a little bit of light dispels a lot of darkness, and what we need to do is add in our light.
The darkness of anti-Semitism disrupted the joy of lighting Bondi's menorah today. Around the world, Jewish communities will continue to light those candles in their windows this week, in defiance of the rising threat against them.
Well, Australian broadcaster Hamish MacDonald is the presenter of Mornings on ABC Radio Sydney. I spoke to him a short while ago and asked him what the mood is like there just hours after the attack.
It's not an overstatement to say that I think Australia is devastated by these events. This took place in Sydney's backyard, Australia's backyard, Bondi Beach, the place that so many travel from all over the world to see as that single snapshot of Australian life. And that is very much what this place is all about. It was a Sunday evening. It was a perfect early summer evening. Friends of mine that live here said you couldn't have asked for a better Sunday evening. Another friend had just jumped on a surfboard because she saw her friend riding some nice waves not too far from here. And it was interrupted. It turned to chaos. There was pandemonium. Hundreds of people running south from the beach, north from the beach, up the hill. Some people still carrying beers in their hands because people were coming into bars and pubs and cafes and restaurants and saying, run for your life. And so sadly, at least 12 people have been killed, including, of course, one of the gunmen we now know. But I think obviously it's significant this has been declared a terrorist incident, but it is also the single biggest shooting in Australia since 1996.
This is going to have a profound impact, isn't it, on Australia? It's not something of the like that the country has seen before.
Jewish contacts of mine, friends, have been in touch tonight saying, you know, we've been warning of this. People have questioned whether we were exaggerating when we said this sort of thing might happen. And so I think there's a sense of deep regret in the Jewish community that their worst fears have been realised. As I drove down here to Bondi Beach tonight, I stopped off and saw an Orthodox Jewish friend of mine who spent her afternoon ferrying crying, distressed, hysterical young women of the Jewish community that were here at the Hanukkah event up the hill to their residences because they could not get out of here. Just think of the timing, the first day of Hanukkah, the lead up to Christmas. This is when Australia kicks back for their summer holidays.
And the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has said he's going to eradicate this hate. I mean, what might that look like? And do people believe he's able to do it?
I think it's very hard to know how he intends to do that, speaking honestly. Sydney particularly is a city that has felt these divisions that you've felt there in the UK, that have been felt all over the world, particularly in this 2-year period since the October 7 attacks. The friction points that have emerged that probably existed all along, but that have boiled up in this period of more acute conflict, have been very present here in Australia and have been shocking to many.
But as well as that barbaric violence, we also saw extraordinary heroism today, didn't we?
Yes, I mean, that video of the man tackling from behind one of the gunmen, wrestling the gun from him. Honestly, everyone I've spoken to that lives around here points to that video and that man. My Orthodox Jewish friend that I spoke to on the way down said, you know, it was those sorts of Australians, ordinary Australians, who stood up in the face of that violence.
Hamish MacDonald, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.